me talk a little bit about Oklahoma City. About 30 days ago, Forbes did an analysis of the 50 largest cities in the United States. Housing market, job market, infrastructure spending, drive time, cost of living, everything else. Forbes declared Oklahoma City to be the #1, not only most affordable housing market in the United States, but also, and I'll say this, you'll see this a little bit later, that Oklahoma City is now considered by Forbes to be the #1 recession-proof city in the United States. In other words, in comparison to other places, we're the last ones to go. Oklahoma City has had continuous appreciation for the last 8 years. An interesting statistic about foreclosures for a minute, because, I mean, when I got in the real estate market in 1989, Oklahoma City was a market based on foreclosures. I don't know if many of you are old enough, some of you sure might remember this, but in 1982, oil went to $9 a barrel. Those were the good old days, but not for Oklahoma City. Oil and gas right now is we're getting rich while other people are getting poor. And I have to say, to a certain degree of self-interest, I'm okay with that. But one thing, you know, gosh, we suffered so much, it's our time. But actually last year, according to Realty Track, the Oklahoma market reduced foreclosures in 2007 from 2006 by 15.47%. Now, an interesting stat now is that in the first quarter of 2008, foreclosures went down 17%. So you're talking about a very, very stable market. From an absorption rate point of view, absorption rate in the areas that we sell are 2.5 months. A neutral market in absorption rate, or you taking the number of buyers and you go with sold properties with the amount of inventory that's out there, and the areas that we're selling right now are 2.5 months. 6 months is considered a neutral market. That's a balanced market. There are places in the United States that are 10 years right now in absorption rate. So you know there's going to be a downward pressure, not just from foreclosures that affect the appraisals, but also from the inventory. So this is something very important to look at. Also, Oklahoma, by federal government standards, Oklahoma is one of the 3 states in the United States that did not go down in average price last year. We're in there with Vermont and Maine. Don't ask me why, but we are. But we did not go down in average price. So we have a very stable floor in terms of our values. So if your idea is conservative investing on new property in an upward market, I think Oklahoma would be a good place for you to be. Oklahoma is a very strong cash flow state. Rental data right now is we're averaging about $1,350 in rent, and our average days on the market are 29.57 days. Now, that would be a high one, wouldn't it? In Tulsa, one of the reasons Tulsa is misspelled there, I blame that on me on a couple of things. Spell check is really important for people from Oklahoma. So I think our education level has to go a little bit higher, don't you think? But below, that's like Sal Bello. But 10% below the national average in cost of living. It's a great place to live. Cost of doing business is 8% below. And the gross economic growth is 5.6%. I just Googled Tulsa on what the average price was, and actually average price in Tulsa right now is up 7.2%. So it's actually, again, going the opposite direction. Owasso in the surrounding areas by Forbes was considered the 6th best job market in the United States. Again, the average price is up 7.2%. Over the next 5 years, they're expecting at least a 15% appreciation. We think it'll go higher than that, but we don't like to overpromise. We'd rather underpromise and overdeliver. 45-minute drive to ConocoPhillips, a very large oil company. 15 minutes from Owasso, Google is putting in a $600 million media center. PepsiCo has the largest bottling plant in the United States. They're adding 1.5 million square feet. Oklahoma's doing really well. Townhomes, we're building townhomes there at 136,500, brand new, fully turnkey, ready to rent, 1,450 to 1,469 square feet, $1,150 to $1,250 a month in rent. By the way, taxes are 1.1%. Insurance rates are some of the lowest in the United States. Typically, insurance of a single-family house is $500 to $600 a year. We always do an internal rate of return on everything we do. We think you need to know this. Our after-tax IRRs, or internal rate of return, if you're not totally familiar with it, it's the amount of money you make on your investment while you keep the money in the investment. And so we do a kind of a kitchen sink IRR. We put in the fact that you're generous enough to pay me to resell the property. You're going to pay the federal government the capital gains and the recapture tax. So we like to do a kitchen sink analysis, vacancy, everything else. That's a 15.28% after-tax return on your money. Think about that in terms of pre-tax terms, and you're in the 20s. In Broken Arrow, we're also building single-family homes. We're buying the lots next week, going to get started hopefully in the next 30 days. This is the way the house is going to look. This is also a house we built in the Edmond market. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-car garage, all brick, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops throughout, 10-foot ceilings, 1,700 square feet. It'll be $1,350 to $1,450 a month to rent. The 7-year after-tax IRR after tax is 20%. So again, excellent return on your money. On the townhomes, this is kind of showing they're being done in fourplexes. This is kind of how the layout's going to be. And by the way, on the internal rate of return, we'll give you the full 3-page analysis. This is just something that we have to do fairly quickly. Now, just to the north of Tulsa, a little bit farther drive, Bartlesville is the home of ConocoPhillips. We have 2 to 3 year corporate housing rentals available there. They're duplexes at $265,000. They're 3-bed, 2-bath. Some will be 4-bed, 2-bath per side. Again, those are renting or will rent at $2,300 to $2,400 a month. 20.51% after-tax internal rate of return. There's a $10,000 rental guarantee lease back from the builder. Why invest in Oklahoma City now? Oklahoma City is rated the #1 recession-proof city by Forbes. We're still defying the trends. I've talked about the property tax. Our cost of living is also low at 9%. Unemployment is 3.7% and dropping. We're the 10th best job market by Forbes in the United States. We exceed the national average in 7 categories. That's the only way you create service sector jobs. For every job over the national average, we create 4 jobs, and for every job we create 3.7 people. Although I never have seen that 0.7 person, but I'm still looking for them. But it's Oklahoma. Maybe it exists. City of Edmond. This has been a highly successful area. Edmond last year set 4 records for highest average price, median price, volume, and number of units sold. This is not exactly something where you cry the blues, although I love the blues. B.B. King's one of my favorites, but not in investments. Investments are available there in 4 different locations. Edmond is the highest demographic in the Oklahoma City area. This is an example. It's not just the example. It is the house at $171,000. Again, all brand new, high internal rate of return. That is a typical rent we've been getting now for over almost 4 years. Another one at $168,500, $167,900. This is typical pricing. Again, high internal rate of return. A lot of these properties, by the way, are already leased. And I will also tell you, anything that's not already leased, the builder will guarantee the lease for 3 months. With a 30-day average, we don't want you to have any vacancies at this point. So anything that you buy today or that you buy from this meeting is going to have at least that in terms of guaranteed rents. Skywards Court is just getting started. We're just starting construction on our first 6 out of 129 lots. Again, all granite countertops. They're going to start at $139,900 and go to $168,900. Again, brand new, sprinkler systems, fence, sod, landscaping, all brick, full appliances, blind, 2-inch blinds, garage door opener, ceiling fans throughout, everything that you need to turnkey. So those run anywhere from $140,000 to $169,000. We also have Kimberly Crossing in Edmond. These are houses that will be ready in July. They're 1,706 square feet, $170,000. Again, a 3-month builder's guarantee on the leasing. They're ready in July of 2008. And by the way, that Skywards Court, they're starting construction in August. So in other words, it takes us about, weather permitting, about 90 days to build a house in Oklahoma. Castlebrook Crossing. This is a house that's already leased by the builder. There's no property management fees. You should get about 2 years out of the lease. It's leased back at $1,700, 2,238 square feet. That's the actual house. It is builders' leasebacks are really a great way to do business. I have one identical to it in the back that's also leased, I believe, for 2 years at $1,650 a month at this point. So you already have the lease in there. This is a house that we also have 4-bed, 3-car garage, 1,729 square feet, It's already rented at $1,395. Don't need to worry about getting the renter. In that same neighborhood, I've got one at $1,375. This is already leased also. So very often what we can provide for you is a house that's already leased, because vacancy is not something that any of us are really happy with, and that's also why we're doing the builder's guarantee. Now, one thing that Addie was talking about is the fact that, you know, we've had a lot of people in the last 4 years buy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses. They bought in other ICG markets, really good markets, and so they're looking for something a little bit different. And so we're going towards the commercial market. We have 6 banks already set up for financing on these properties. Let me tell you, in these areas, let me tell you what the vacancy rate of Class A apartments is in Oklahoma City Northside right now is 0.6% vacancy. Now, I defy you to find a better vacancy rate than that anywhere.